Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh Basha Me'asha Basha Madawakwadash Dabalano, sent to the elder apostles, a great millstone, for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. Shalom, that is sincere across the world. Now, I made a video, and then I wanted to, I was busy typing the title for the video, which is this here. And I'm gonna pick and choose one of them. I don't know exactly, so I wrote everything down that came to my mind according to the video, according to what was in the video. Everything here is in the video, but I need to title it in a way to where I'm not gonna cover everything, because the title thing is too short, and I don't want to make it too fancy, because people are gonna they're gonna click on what they read. If you just keep the title kind of boring, then the spirit will make them click. But if you keep it fancy, then the flesh will make them click, which is, you could say, Matthew 16, flesh and blood had not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. So, and I do notice that if I type a fancy title, then I get the clicks, because they be, hey, what's going on around there? Let me see what's going on. Hey, move over, man. Let me see what. But if I put a boring, just normal title, fuck that nigga, man. Let me go watch some. I say, well, this ain't no entertainment. What them popcorn at, nigga? Fuck this nigga. Stuff like that. So I would rather do the boring thing and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just type what I think that I should type the title, the video. Anyway, I was writing for a description box thing, and then I, of course, came in the video also, which I talked about this, but I didn't fully go up in it. Now, so I don't know exactly what I'm gonna title this video, because this is not the video that I'm actually doing. This is not the video that I'm doing right now. This is the video that I was talking about. Well, I was typing actually stuff, and then this one. Then I thought to myself, let me make a video about this one, which is I had the title somewhere else. Sorry. Right, this is going to be the somewhat like this is going to be the title of the video that I'm making right now, somewhat like this. But yeah, it's based on the comment that I wanted to put in the description box in this video over here. And this video is another thing. This title is another video. I didn't make this yet. I was just going to, when I woke up, right? Sometimes I have my phone near me. I'm not on the phone, bro. I'm telling you. It's like when I get a dream or something, then I record it, because if I get up or go to the toilet, I might forget it right then and there. So I have the phone like near the bed, that when I wake up, then if I have a dream, then I record it. Because I'm 100%, not 100%, I'm going to forget it most of the time. Yeah, I'm going to forget it. Even while I'm talking, I forget the dream. Like, what happened again? I saw his face, but I can't remember his face no more. In the dream, I know his face, but now I woke up, I don't know his face. That might be an angel. I don't know. You can't remember faces, and it's not me being forgetful. I have talked to many people that they know the guy's face while they was in the dream, but when they woke up, the face is gone, literally gone. Right, so not to waste more time and stretch this video, I'll just go into these things here. But I will title it somewhat like this. I'm not sure. And this, I didn't make the video yet. I just had the title. Like I said, I woke up, and then I thought of something, pop, and I wrote it down in my telephone. And now I just then, when I paused the video, I wrote it down here, but it came out my telephone. The notepad stuff. Right. So now going back to over here, right? So it says right here, right? So my title is what the hell was that again, boy? David is not born. Yeah, what the hell? David is not born in Jerusalem. There are two cities of David. Two places that are called City of David. Jerusalem is not Bethlehem, and Zion is not Jerusalem. Right. Okay. I'll start at, I think, here. Right. 1 Samuel, which go into the birth of David in Bethlehem. His birthplace, I should say. 1 Samuel 16:1. And Yahweh said unto Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Collectively all 12 tribes. Fill thine horn with oil. Now, a horn represents power. And Saul, he was anointed in a veil. A veil is man-made. A veil of oil. A man made it. Okay. Oh, okay. Ancient. A veil. A man made this, okay? Right. These were the ones. You had these type of veils, which was earthen vessels. And of course, you had the other one with the... where's the other one again, damn it? These ones. Were these ones too, right? So some kind of glossy, glassy type of mannerisms. But it's still earthen vessels. You know, it's really poorly shaped, but still, you know. Nowadays, you know, they got them fancy ones with them machineries and stuff like that, so they can make it perfect. But anyway, going back over here. So, a veil. Now, it says right here, Yahweh said, so it says right here, if you make an altar, so Exodus 20 and 25. If thou wilt make me an altar of stone. So this is talking about an altar. Like an altar is this thing over here. So this is man-made, by the way. They're lying there. Because you can see the construction of this thing. How it is constructed. The construction of... Here. Here. The construction of Stonehenge. Here. They had machineries and putting stuff there and all that there, you know. And then they had the digging in the holes. You can see the digging in the ground that they did in order to stabilize these things. But they're teaching you that it was made like this. And then they say that, oh no, we were just fixing it up. We was just fixing it up. We were, it's not the word, it's not reconstruction, it's maintenance, something like that. They were talking about maintenance. But yeah, when these pictures came out, they said, oh no, this was maintenance. But yeah, here you can see the holes. There's different pictures and stuff like that, but you can see that they digged holes in order to stand them things, you know, to make them stand good. But here they explain to you that they digged holes. It's just funny. It's just funny anyway. And you believe these people concerning the world's history and stuff like that. Right. Anyway, you have an altar of stone. Now you have these type of stones, for example. This would then, you can make this into an altar because this is actually worked on by water. Because water will smoothen out stones. Let me see. Now you have stones in rivers. Now these ones are the reason why they're so jagged and sharp is because the water doesn't beat up on it and makes it smooth. These ones neither, or else it would be very dangerous for you to walk over because you're gonna fall, or you might fall. But yeah, water smoothens out the, here for example, ravine. And, I know you don't spell a ravine like that, but that's Dutch. That's why I typed it like that. But ravine. I was thinking of something, but I lost it. Ravine, mountains of water, ravine wall. Wow. I'm looking for something actually that this is what I want. Yeah, the water is the one, because the water used to be very high back in the days, so therefore it smoothened the wall because it beat against it. And this one, you can see it's jagged and all that type of stuff. So water was here, but if you go more upward, it's more jagged. If you look here, you can see it's smooth. So that means that the water was up here back in the days, and it was very violently beating against the stone. It's just moving fast, and it would smoothen it out. Yeah, right. So yeah, you can see that by looking at the wall, if there was water. Okay, but altar of stone. Now if you work the stone, you know, for example, you have here altar. I'm still trying to look for a great example, actually. This one. This is the altar of stone that you couldn't work upon it because it says right here, you couldn't worship Yahweh Bashem Yahshai with it, because it says right here, if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou wilt not build it of hewn stone. Hewn stone is this stone that you hewn, you work upon. This is somebody took something, a tool, and started king, 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 you know, hitting it and stuff like that. This is hewn. But you need to have actually this, a rough boulder, just a boulder, or wait a minute. Oh, it did spell it good. Didn't spell it good. This, and then, you know, it would be formed in a natural way, like this one. Something like that. You can use that as an altar to sacrifice a lamb upon, or a goat and stuff like that. Back in the days, we don't do that no more. Hebrews 10 shows you that, among others, which other chapters. For if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. In the time of King Solomon's building, they made sure that there were no tools used upon the stones in a certain, in the temple and stuff like that, in that region. They did stuff far away. They did it explains it there in the book of First Kings, when he was building the temple. They did use certain things, but a lot of this they didn't do, of a lot of these stones, you know, these big boulders. But that's another story. Neither shall thou go. Okay, the point is here, if you lift up a tool against it, you have polluted it. Thou hast polluted it. So a flask is somewhat polluted because man's hand has been gone upon it with a tool, right? But, and by the way, you can actually make it without the tool, the flask. You can make it without a tool with your hands and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's the earthen vessel flasks. But it's still made by man, yeah? The horn is actually something that is grown off of an animal and then broken off, you know, or and it's not sawed off by a tool, even though you could do that. But yeah, the point of me talking about this in the first place anyway is that the anointing of Saul was less. I'm not gonna say. How can I say it, boy? The anointing of King David was more superior, more representative of power, because a horn of an animal represents power, and a flask represents the creation of a man. That's basically what it is. It is not that a man anointed the ex-king Saul. I'm not saying that, but it's still, it's just something. It's just something to think about. Like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So fill up thine horn and go, and I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite. So that is in Bethlehem, right? Which is, oh boy, where did I put that one? Okay. Here you have Jerusalem, and here you have Bethlehem, right? Okay, let me see if I have another picture on that, actually. That one. Okay, so here it says Ephrath. Ephrath is a city, and Bethlehem is the town that was there, basically. But later on, it was all known as Bethlehem. And they, on the maps at least, they dropped the name Ephrath, but that is actually where it is. They were called Ephrathites. It looks like Ephraimites, you know, when I read it, but it's Ephrath. And you had I think you had Levites. They live in there too, because the Levites were in the suburbs of all the places of all the tribes. But that's another story. Now, but the point is, wait, let me read on. And I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons, and they were born there in Bethlehem. 1 Samuel 17:12. Now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah. The reason why it says Bethlehem, Judah is to not make you get in confusion with, I think it's, wait, sorry. Oh boy. Hey man. To get in confusion with Zebulon Bethlehem, or Bethlehem Zebulon, because there was another Bethlehem there also. So, Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah, right? He was an Ephrathite, which is that region, just like how you have New York, and then in New York you have Brooklyn. Something like that, as an example, you know? Okay, so this is then there for New York, and this is then there for Brooklyn, or Queens, or whatever. Right. Whose name was Jesse, and he had 8 sons. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. Okay, cool, cat. So let me go on. So John chapter 7, verse 42. Had not the scripture said that the anointed, Mashiach Yahushai, cometh of the seed of David, and out of the town of Bethlehem, in the place of Ephrath, right? So in the town of Bethlehem, where David was. So now it shows you that Yahushai was also born in Bethlehem. He came out of there. And also David was born of Bethlehem. He came out of there. Luke 2 and 4. And Joseph went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, which was in Naphtali, of course, which is here, which is then therefore I don't think it's upward. I think it's supposed to be here somewhere. No, then it's yeah, it's around here actually. Here. This is Jezreel, but the other one was here, up here. Well, I think I just thought about another picture, which is then therefore here. There is Galilee. You have the Sea of Galilee. So on this side you have Bashan, but it's also called Gilead. And then on this side you have Galilee, which is Asher, Naphtali, Zebulun, Issachar, and stuff like that. But actually it's Zebulun, Naphtali, Asher, and yeah, that's it. This is Galilee, where Yahushua started to minister basically first, because they were the ones that fell first. Well, not really first. It was actually them, but yeah. And the thing that I just mentioned is actually mentioned here. Before you say like, hey, what are you talking about? What you talking about, bro? It's here. And leaving Nazareth, he came to which is in the border of Zebulun and Naphtali, that he might fulfill, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea, yes, the Sea of Galilee or the Mediterranean Sea, both of them sides are seas, beyond Jordan, which on the left side, Galilee of the Gentiles. There's where the Lord started, because the people that which sat in darkness saw a great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprang up, which is Yahushua. He came there and he started talking to them. Anyway, not specifically, but he went there. The point is he went there, what I was saying. Okay, going on. Luke chapter 2 verse 4. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David. So he went into the city of David, which is called Bethlehem. So there's two cities of David. One is called Bethlehem in this New Testament, right? It's called Bethlehem, the city of David. But this is talking about his birthplace, city of David. Let me go on. Because Joseph was of the house and lineage of David. So in order for you to be of the house of David, you need to come from his loins. You need to come from his individual seed, bloodline. Because all the Judites upon the planet Earth, just for an example's sake, right? All the Judites upon the planet Earth are not the house of David. All the Judites are the house of Judah. Only the bloodline of David is the house of David. Elias, which is David, his brother, or Eliah. What's his name again? Make no lie. First Samuel 17:28. Yeah, Eliab. Sorry. Eliab. So the house of Eliab is not the house of David. But David and Eliab are the house of Jesse. Right, okay. It's also mentioned that when King David cursed Joab, he cursed his father's house. Yeah. So he let the curse not only come upon Joab, but he cursed all his father's house. Now that's fucked up. So even his brothers and stuff like that got a portion of that curse. Everyone that came from his father got that curse, you know. And then and let there not fail from the individual house of Joab himself. A man that has an issue, he got penis problems, or that is a leper, he turned into a caucus person. They look like him. Or that leaneth on the staff, they're gonna be weak at the legs. They're gonna need crutches and stuff like that. And fall on a sword, whether it be by accident or war. This is war, but they're gonna die with accidents also. Or that lacketh bread. You should not fail to lack bread, meaning there should always be somebody that lacks bread within your family, within his actual individual household. But the blood of the murder that he did will fall on his father's house. So this is a great example to show you that there is a difference between the house of Joab and the house of the father of Joab, which is all the children of Joab. All the children of Joab's father, sorry. Okay, going back over here. Okay, so what does it say? This says that the city of David is here called Bethlehem, right? But if you go to here, which is 2 Samuel, I had it here too, but I didn't read it, But anyway, it's not important. Here is better. 2 Samuel chapter 5, verse 6. And the king and his men, King David, went to Jerusalem. Now he was grown already, right? He's a warrior now. Went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, because the Jebusites inhabited the land first. They was there first. They're the Jebusites. I think it's 28, Joshua 15, 56 maybe, and then Genesis 29 then. Okay, what was that? Boy. Maybe that. I don't think so. Let me just grab this then. Oh. Okay, Joshua. 63 it was, yeah. I just remembered. Okay. Yeah, it was. So Joshua chapter 18 verse 28, and Zelah, Elath, and Jebusi, which is Jerusalem, because it used to be called Jebusite or Jebusi, Giath, and Kirijah, 14 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the children of Benjamin according to their families. So Benjamin got Jerusalem. And if you read Numbers 27 and Numbers 36, it says that another tribe is not allowed to take 1 centimeter, even less than that, from another tribe their land. But after the split, and also no, wait, yeah, after the split, you had Benjamin and, well, you had Judah going into Jerusalem and then be sharing it with Benjamin. That's one. And then you had the other one, which is Dan. Dan got into troubles, and then he moved to, it was trouble and also lack of land, because the Canaanites were there. So they sinned, so they started to lose wars and stuff like that. But it was two things. It was the land was small, and also they were at war. So they went to Naphtali and they lived there, and they killed the Sidonians there, and they waited to see if the other Sidonians was to come, but word didn't travel because they just left them there. And then they stayed there, and nobody came. Nobody came to check up on them, like, hey, are you alive? Yeah, they took that city. Joshua, I think 19 talks about that, or 21, something like that. I think it's here somewhere. Yeah, and the coast of the children of Dan was too little for them, so they went to Lashem, but later on it was called Laish, and that is in, where was that again? Judges. Yeah. In Judges. In Judges, they talk about it once more again, which is here. It was called Laish at the first, but it's Lashem. It's the same thing. And then they took that there. They went to go spy out the country. And then they saw the Sidonians there, they saw the Sidonians there. And let me see. If you go to Joshua 19, then it goes into, let me see. Whoa. Anyway, it may be the next chapter. No. Maybe the chapter before that. Let me see. There was a magistrate just age 18. 18 and 20, what, and 7? Let me see. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Okay. I was here. Yeah. So here it is. They saw that here. The magistrate was a police officer, basically. There were no police officers in the land because they would have beat them to smithereens, and they said it. Here. And there was no magistrate in the land that they might put them to shame in anything, because the Hamites were no fucking joke. Them Canaanites, which are Hamites, they were no joke, and they knew, like, hey, we're gonna get fucked up. Plus they were sinning. They had their gods and stuff like that. They was worshiping here. They came to Micah, and there was a Levite here, and they had a fake god. And then the Danites, they took that god, the teraphim. Teraphim is an idol. Small figurines, it's an idol. Small images and stuff like that, those are idols. And then Dan took it by force. They was fighting amongst each other. Israelites was fighting amongst each other, threatening each other, like, I'm gonna kill you if you don't cough up that idol. Give me that idol. I need it more than you. Anyway, So then therefore you had that going on. Okay, so let me go on here. Right, so Judges 8, Joshua 18, right? Joshua 15 and 63. As for the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the children of Judah could not drive them out, but the Jebusites dwell with the children of Judah at Jerusalem unto this day. This was later on, of course, because I am reading now. This was before, sorry. What am I talking about? This was late. This was later when King David came. What am I? Let me see. Hey, let me look it up, man. Which one was later or before? Samuel was later than Judges. Okay, got it. Joshua. Here's Joshua, which is before, and then later Samuel came in the time of King David, because King David wasn't born in the time of Joshua. So what am I talking about? Okay, so this was before. Okay, so now again, they couldn't do that. And then the book of Judges, which is, and the children, Judges 1 and 21, and the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem, but the Jebusites dwell with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem unto this day. So what were they doing? They were living, the Jebusites were living there, and you couldn't beat them. They couldn't beat them. They couldn't. So later on, fast forward now to the time of King David. 2 Samuel 5 and 6. And the king and his men, King David, went to Jerusalem, because he's full grown now. Now I'm saying, finna go fight now. Unto the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spake unto David, saying, Except thou take away the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither. Thinking David cannot come in hither, because they was a fort. They couldn't be beat. These people were there for many years. I tell you that. Many of years. Well, excuse me. Right. It is written that they were there at least like a few thousand years there. They were there. Right. So going on, but the explanation of this is kind of twofold to a certain degree. It's here to be mentioned in here, which is this. Their idols, they speak not, they have no mouth, they speak not, they see not. So basically they hear not, they have ears but they hear not. It's an idol, it's a statue, right? But they smell not, they have noses but they smell not. So that is what David was calling them. Not David, the Israelites was calling them that, and they was kind of mockingly saying like, so the only way you're gonna take this away, sorry. So let me read it. Except thou take away the blind and the lame. They're talking about their gods also, but they're also talking about their people, meaning the weakest Jebusite, Canaanite, the weakest of them, and the ones that are lame. They some of them limbs are not working. Maybe one hand is lame or one leg. You couldn't even beat them, because they were strong and they were too proud, because they was beating the Israelites. They was beating the Israelites before that, so and other nations too. They was beating them. You can't fight them, but hey. So King David beat him. Verse 7. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, the same is the city of David. See, here it says the city of David, but here, not that one. Here it says that the city of David is Bethlehem. So why is that? Because, you have a lot of people that would be like, hey man, the Bible is contradicting itself, man. It's contradictive. Who believes that, man? There's unicorns in the Bible, man. Unicorns, man. You still believe that? But I'm actually telling you things that people say. the mocking that I'm doing, people say that. I know people that said that actually. There's unicorns in the Bible, man. Unicorns, man. So what is happening here is to be explained. Just Lord willing, everything is to be explained just patiently. You know what I'm saying? If you just have the time, right? So this is actually dubbed after the city of David is dubbed because he was born there. This one is named the city of David because he conquered it, right? And then it says, nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion. So Zion is a place, actually, right? Where the mountain, it was a mountain, but where the heavenly Father, wait, let me say it correctly. Where the fort that David took, but he took it from the Jebusites, and then of course he added stuff onto it, fixed it and stuff like that. It was not fixed like as in it was broken, but more he added stuff onto it. I'll show a few pictures. Right. The same is the city of David. So now here is the city of David, and you might be like, so wait a minute, Jerusalem is the city of David? No, it's actually the stronghold, and then Bethlehem is the city of David. Well, yes and no. Both of them are yes and no, and I got a picture right here to show that off. To wherewith I have this one, if I'm correct. Yeah, here you have Bethlehem Ephrath, and then you have Jerusalem going a little bit further, which is in the land of Benjamin, as you can see, I think here, which is this one here, right? So here you have across the border of Benjamin, you would come into the land of Benjamin, and then you had Jerusalem there, which is Jebus or Jebusi. In Joshua 18:28, it says Jebusi. It's Jebusites, right? And then Judah was there, here of course, over here, and then he came here, and he took it. And there's another scripture that you can see, because it says right here, because Judah and Benjamin shared that land, that portion of that land over there, because it says, Judges 1:21, and the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem, but the Jebusites dwell with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem unto this day. And even further, I just thought about it, and even further down the line, when King David actually was the king, here, when King David was the king already, then you had here, which is here, Araunah, which is in the English called Ornan. Araunah, the Jebusite, was there when King David counted the men of Judah and the men of Israel. He counted them. So basically he counted because right here, let me see. The men of Israel, which is the men of the northern tribes, he counted them to be 800,000. And he counted the men of Judah, which is then therefore to be 500,000. Okay, but when the angel was killing people, he stopped at the threshing floor of Araunah, the Jebusite. But in 1 Corinthians chapter 21, it says that his name was Ornan, the Jebusite. So it's just Englishized. Did I say that good? Englandized. Something like that, man. Englishized version of Araunah. Araunah is basically Hebrew English. Then Ornan is Hebrew English, and then simplified. What? Simplified. Is that it? Simplified? Wow. Anyway, it's made simple into the English, I should say. The other one is English too, but it's more, it sounds more as what a Hebrew, I don't know how to, if you understand what I just said. If I explained it correct, I should say. Right. But yeah, I think you do. So Ornan the Jebusite, that's his name. In the easy English, I should say, right? Because this one is kind of hard. Araunah, the Jebusite. Well, my point of mentioning that is to show you that they were still there, even in the time of King David, because he bought it from them. Because it says right here, verse 22, Then David said to Ornan, grant me the place of this threshing floor, that I may build an altar therein unto Yahweh. Thou shalt grant it me for the full price, that the plague may be stayed from the people, because the Lord was killing them, right? And Ornan wanted to give it for free and stuff like that, but King David said, Nay, but I will verily buy it for full price, for I will not take that which is thine for the Heavenly Father Yahweh, nor offer burnt offerings without paying for it, without cost. So David gave Ornan for the place 600 shekels of gold by weight. Boy, that's a lot of money, boy. I'm gonna give, and that's the king's weight, so that's even more, because it shows you right here, the book of Judges 17, that a year's worth of salary. But this is an individual thing, you know. You pay people what they agree upon. That was the thing back in the days. Okay, but he was paid, this Levite, individual Levite, was paid 10 shekels of silver by the year. So you can imagine. And if you was to grab an Israelite daughter without her will, which would then therefore be a fine of 50 shekels of silver. But if you lie upon a virgin of Israel, then it would be 100 shekels of silver. So I want to make a joke. It's better to rape than to lie upon a virgin of Israel, because you're giving him her bad name. Yeah, you might think it's cruel, but hey, his thoughts are not our thoughts, and his ways are not his ways. And you don't have to think about it, because in the kingdom we're going to be like celebrities. You're not going to have to snatch up a Jacob descendant daughter. All you need to do is ask her hand of the father, and then, you know, stuff is going to get settled. But if it's a heathen, well, Deuteronomy chapter 21, I think. You should read this for the heathen women. 10 to 14. Just read that. That's for the heathen women. And this was for the daughters of Jacob. But like I said, in the kingdom, it's not really going to be down like that. That's what I think. I don't know. I tell you what I think. Right? This is what I think. Anyway, so let me go on. Let me see. Where was I? I don't think I need all that there. Sidonians and Tyre, which are the same people, but this is the city and this is the people, but these people inhabited this city also. The king of Tyre is a Sidonian, which is a Canaanite. You can grab that here. Oops. Gen 10 and yeah. Here. Canaan, Sidon, Mizraim, Philistines, stuff like that. Right, okay, 600, so you paid him. And okay, so remember that King David bought this place, right? I'll keep this portal open. This chapter open. Right, going back to over here. Now, here. Okay. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, which is the place that the Jebusites had, because it is a fort. It is a fort, and I'll show you a few pictures after this. I'll also show you a video, but going on. And David said on that day, whosoever getteth up to the gutter, and smiteth the Jebusites, and the lame and the blind that are hated of David's soul. He wasn't actually hating physical people that are blind and lame, because he loved, here. David loved Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth. I know I didn't spell it right. 2 Samuel chapter 9 verse 6. Now when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, he fell on his face, restored, because, you know, he did something that King David thought he was kind of his enemy to a certain degree, but he explained himself and it was good. And let me see, Mephibosheth was lame both on 2 feet. He was lame on 2 feet, right? But Mephibosheth was told by King David to eat at his table. To eat at, wait, let me see here. Yeah, at his table. So he loved them, and also for Jonathan's sake, and also when it was time actually to kill the sons of here, 23, I think now, or maybe it was 21 actually.